Hello, I'm Kendra, and here at Hooked by Happenstance, it is Sunday once again. And that means it's time for our Sunday Sunrise, week 12? So the Sunday Sunrise is my solution to New Year's resolutions, where rather than making a bunch of goals at the beginning of the year that I knew I would not do, I make goals every Sunday. Theoretically small attainable goals for my crafty life and the channel and such, and I share them with you, and then we come back the next week and decide whether or not I followed through on those goals and make some for the next week. So let's begin by looking at our goals from last week. So here is my list from last week. I have taken to using a piece of small paper with stuff at the top, so I don't have very many lines so that I can't overcommit. It still doesn't stop me from overcommitting. Last week, my 3 goals. The first one was to work on the grad afghans for my nephews. I wanted to bring the blue one up to 60% and the red one up to 30%. I did not touch the red one, but I did make a decision about it. So we'll talk about that in a minute. I did work on the blue one, but I did not complete quite as much as I had hoped. Did bring the blue blanket up to about 50%. So, I mean, I did 3% of an afghan. Can't complain too much about that. So then the second thing on my list was to work on my prairie shawl design, which I did not do, but instead I worked on a different design, a design for a cowl. It's called the Celestia Crinkle Cowl, and you can see a finished version in my Makes Monday video from earlier in the week. I worked on writing up the pattern and making a second sample, and I actually just bought yarn last night to make a third. So once that is all figured out and I've taken some pictures, then I will be publishing that pattern. So that's exciting. Wasn't the pattern I'd hoped to work on, but it was still design work, so that is good. And the third thing was to put up 3 videos, which I totally did. I did a Sunday Sunrise, a Makes Monday, and I also did a Yarn Tales video. If you've not seen my Yarn Tales videos before, they're videos where I read books, and then I tell you about them, and I add a segment to an ongoing reading shawl that I'm working on. And my reading shawl is kind of like a book log in yarn form, where I try and encapsulate a book in a small segment of an ongoing shawl project. So that is also going to be linked on the end if you'd like to check that out. And then I had a stretch goal, a goal I did not think I would get to because I had not been pulled in that direction much lately, and that was to sew bags for my Etsy shop. Well, today, Sunday, there is an update in my Etsy shop, so I did a lot of sewing. So that is where a lot of my energy went. I stretched more than following through with the original goals. So now, let's look at this week's list. I used a normal pen and see how much less space it takes up than when I use the fat marker. So really, I think the marker is a better choice. But here is my goals for this week. Note that on Tuesday, I'm going down to my uncle's house, and early Wednesday morning, I get on a train to California. So I'm going to be with my dad for 2 weeks once I get there. So this week is going to be mostly a week of packing and travel. So keeping that in mind when I made my list. The first thing on my list is to film 9 videos this week. What? I know. 9 videos, because I want to backlog some videos, because I'm going to attempt to do Veda video every day in April here on Hooked by Happenstance. I know it might be ambitious, but we're gonna try. And filming videos that involve my stash is very difficult when I am not with it. So I'm gonna film the videos. I will edit them on my trip because I should have time and theoretically some energy to do that. We'll see. The second thing on my list is to pack my afghans for the train, which I actually already did. I decided that the red afghan that's been getting no love, that one is for sure coming with me on the train up to my seat. That is going to be the primary project, I think, that I'm going to work on while I'm on the train. My goal is going to be to work on it. It's already in my bag on the floor waiting for me to go. So that is going to happen. It's going to happen. The third thing is to finish the new Celestia Crinkle Cowl and the pattern for it, and that is also something I will be taking with me on my trip. And the fourth thing is to get that Etsy update live, which has not gone live yet, but by the time you see this video, it will be. So there's a link in my description down below if you would like to see my project bags and things. You can head over to the Hooked by Happenstance Etsy shop. And if you follow me on Instagram and Etsy, there are updates posted there when I update the shop. Okie dokie, everybody. I hope that you all have a good week and that you maybe make some choices in what you do or do not complete. I find that goals are a really good thing in theory. I find that I get more done if I make goals than if I don't at all, but I also have really been trying to accept the idea that you can swap goals. If something seems more pressing, or frankly, if I just have more motivation to do something than what is on the list, but they are swappable. Like I was more taken with the Celestia Crinkle Cowl this week than I was with the Prairie Shawl. So it's still design work. It still scratches that same creative itch. It's still getting more content and things of mine out into the world. So I swapped them and I'm okay with that. So maybe make some goals of things that you would like to work on with the notion that you might swap them, but you're kind of just setting priorities. Like I want to think about these things in my life. When it comes to my crafting, I try to make 3 to 4 goals. The areas that they cover, usually what I'm going to film for the Hooked by Happenstance channel on YouTube, what I'm going to work on personally for crochet, what I'm going to work on design-wise or for sale, and what I'm going to do with the Etsy shop. Those are my 4 kind of crafty areas of my life. There's the personal, there's the for sale, there's the Etsy shop, which is more like sewing related, and then there's also the videos that I put out. So if you can kind of digest what you like to do and what seems priorities to you down to a small handful, then you can try and pick a manageable goal that fits into each of those. I don't know if that helps you, but that's kind of how I work through it every week, is I just try and like bullet point those topic areas and see if there's something I can work on in each. That way, I try to keep a balance in my life. Try. Don't always succeed. On the end screen here are some of those videos that I talked about earlier, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more. I look forward to seeing you as April comes upon us, and there are so many videos. Hopefully. Have a good day. Bye!